The 21st century has challenged our traditional notions of what makes a learning space successful. We have been given the privilege as a school to renovate our physical learning space. Let's use this opportunity to ensure that we create an environment where teachers' and students' needs are addressed, and the space is a tool to help us maximize our students' learning. In doing so, we must create an environment that is conducive for learning, safety, and enjoyment in all 6 learning spaces. The 6 learning spaces are personal, liminal, the classroom and the school, beyond the school, group and collaborative learning, and the e-space. The personal learning space is one that is complicated and easily overlooked because it is abstract, deeply personal, and unique to each student. However, it can be argued to be one of the most important of the 6 learning areas, as all learning starts with the personal. The awareness and ability to regulate personal learning is a life skill that will help students reach their potential in all areas of their lives. This includes teaching our students how to stay motivated, be self-directed, build self-efficacy, and self-reflect. Benefits for students who have deep understanding of their personal learning space include becoming better learners, are able to ask for support when needed, and change their behavior to better prepare for the next learning challenge. If we are to prepare our students for the future, then these skills are essential. Moreover, this in turn helps teachers to better scaffold and individualize student learning to suit their strengths and weaknesses, and more appropriately group students during collaborative learning. When we better understand our students, we are better able to support and teach them, and the skills needed to strengthen their strengths and weaknesses. Because of the unique nature of each student's personal learning space, it can be a challenge for teachers to remain on top of each student's unique journey. We must also be aware of presenting opportunities for students to build upon these skills, such as opportunities for mastery experiences and social modeling when building self-efficacy. We must also be aware of ourselves of what personal learning space means and how it can differ from individual to individual. Some ways we may be able to approach these challenges is by surveying staff and students about their current understanding of personal learning spaces and building upon their knowledge through modelling. We may also set reminders about each student to help us better support them. We can create ownership of students' learning space by collaborating on personal taxonomies to better garner understanding and build individualized support structures. This is a time-consuming task that requires consistent maintenance, but the benefits are immensely valuable to our students. The next learning space I want to talk about is the liminal space, because I believe it is strongly connected to our personal learning space. The liminal is not a physical space we inhabit, it is a metaphoric space between the known and the unknown. Having a strong understanding of our liminal space and being aware of the discomfort and anxiety it often brings helps us to better understand ourselves, but also gives us the power to remain calm during this transitional stage of our learning, and it will pass if we possess a strong sense of self-efficacy. The liminal space can often make students and us as educators vulnerable and nervous, but if we teach our students to have a sense of understanding and ownership over their liminal space and foster an open, encouraging, non-judgmental and positive environment amongst their peers, they can feel supported and better cope within their liminal space. The liminal space has potential to enrich the learning experience. It can empower teachers and students to be authentic and fearless in their learning and foster an environment amongst the peers that is empathetic and encouraging. But what can teachers do? We can model our thinking and thought process languages to help students label the uncertainty of being in the liminal space and create an environment where all answers and thinking is valued with open-ended tasks and not just one correct answer. We can also use our taxonomies from our personal learning spaces to help guide us through the liminal. The classroom and the school. Our physical environment and surroundings have an impact on our mood, how we behave, and what kind of learning is enabled. Robert Clifford, an environmental psychologist, has found that within educational settings, the amount and arrangement of space is very important for classroom performance and related behaviours. He notes that open learning spaces can have a positive outcome when teaching strategies are matched to the space. When renovating our classrooms, we need to ensure that it is flexible and adaptable to our teaching styles and students' learning styles, and what our pedagogies are matched to the space. How do we ensure that teachers will use the space as intended? Well, we must ensure that we support teachers with resources and PD time to familiarise ourselves with open learning pedagogies. For students, their ability to aesthetically appreciate the physical environment can be affected is often forgotten, as the decisions are primarily made by teachers and staff. However, taking students' preferences and perspectives are important in creating a space in which students can feel a sense of ownership and pride. We can reference student perspectives through research, such as one conducted by Reed, who found that students found circular shapes special and relaxing, and large-scale windows with rectangular shapes that bring the outside world in interesting. Also of significance is the finding that girls preferred high stimulation over low stimulation environments. We can involve our students to participate in our renovation process by surveying their opinions that have votes on particular design elements, such as paint color, furniture, and placement, using survey websites. Other things to consider include space for collaboration, table arrangement, access to resources, room for movement for teachers and students, private learning areas, and thinking about whether the learning space allows for individualized learning and flexibility to suit different lessons. Beyond the classroom. Incursions and excursions provide valuable opportunities for students to interact with the outside world and allow them to have experiences they may otherwise not have the chance to do so. Incursions and excursions allow for a richer sensory learning and makes their content more relatable and tangible. It also helps students to build an understanding of their place in the world and foster a sense of community. It also helps teachers to build excitement for learning. Furthermore, an incursion or excursion experience can be accessible for all levels of intellect. All benefits, however, don't come easy, as there are many challenges teachers face in preparation for such learning. This includes extensive paperwork and time researching to create the best experience for all, as well as preparing appropriate pre- and post-excursion work that maximizes the benefits of the experience. Ways to overcome this challenge may be to delegate tasks to others in organizing such event and choosing from a selected list of places for excursions on government recommended sites, and also asking for volunteer parents to assist on the day. Group collaborative learning. There is more to group work, collaborative, and cooperative learning than meets the eye. Sometimes these words are used interchangeably, but they have their own distinct set of criteria. Group work involves purposeful planning and does not simply involve more than two students working together. Sometimes students may be working in groups, but not as a group. Cooperative learning is teacher-directed and again it involves careful and purposeful planning to ensure that each student holds accountability for their work. Often this is a common concern amongst parents and even students who worry that they will be unfairly assessed because someone in the group is not doing their part of the work. This is why they are given marks based on the contribution and never as a group. Ross and Smith describe successful cooperative learning tasks as intellectually demanding, creative, open-ended, and involve higher order thinking. This is because cooperative learning gives opportunities for students to explain and negotiate the contributions to the group, take turns in discussions, and use exploratory language to try out new ideas, as well as critically thinking and listening to others' perspectives and ways of learning. Spencer Kagan also adds that cooperative learning can help build empathy, active engagement, and has shown to improve results for all levels of students. The benefits don't stop for just the students, but teachers who are able to promote improved teacher-pupil relationships, enhance their professional skills, and frees up time for teachers to arrive and get a more accurate sense of students' understanding and assist students who may need extra help. Collaborative learning involves groups to work together on open-ended problems and discover their learning as a team. Students must work together and individually contribute to find meaning, understanding, seek solutions, problem solve, or create a product to show the learning. Cooperative and collaborative learning is effective in creating students to have a sense of ownership and experience self-efficacy. However, cooperative learning and collaborative learning is never accidental. It takes an immense amount of skill from the teacher, to ensure that students are working as a group and not just in a group. Teachers may be concerned with classroom management and losing control of their class. A lack of confidence, experience, or simply insufficient training may be part of the reason why teachers may be reluctant to try these new methods. Perhaps the physical environment is not conducive for allowing group work and movement either. In order to face these challenges, teachers need to be given sufficient training and support from their peers. Websites such as kaganonline.com are a great start for teachers wanting to learn more about collaborative learning. Here are some strategies teachers can try during the lesson. And finally, the e-space. In the 21st century classroom, technology is something we cannot escape in the school or in the homes of our students. It is a powerful tool in enabling teachers and students to experience learning in new ways that were not possible before. For example, using Star Walk app on the iPad, students are able to see the stars and constellations in the sky directly above them. It brings the outside world in and allows for communication with anyone all over the world. For teachers, this can enable networking with other educators and sharing knowledge through a PLN. However, the ever-changing nature of technology means that as educators, we must constantly continue our own learning and knowledge of software and hardware to ensure that our students are getting the most relevant and up-to-date experiences. There is also the concern for security within our networks, which we must police and teach our students what is appropriate and how they should be behaving online. I hope I have given everybody a lot to consider, and with that I'm going to end the presentation with this quote. I never teach my pupils, I only attempt to provide the conditions in which they can learn, by Albert Einstein. We must not take this opportunity lightly and carefully plan our renovations so that the environment we are left with is a place that we all feel excited and welcome to enter every day. Thank you.